It started as an ordinary Saturday morning in our quiet suburban neighborhood. The air carried a gentle chill, but the sunshine had a golden glow that hinted spring was not too far away. I stood in my kitchen, sipping coffee from my favorite mug, the one my son Ethan had painted for me when he was only 7, splattered with blue streaks and crooked little hearts. He was 15 now, tall and lanky, his voice deeper, but his smile still holding that same boyish brightness. Ethan had been working on a school photography project for weeks. His teacher had assigned each student to create a portfolio of portraits that told a story. He had taken photos of his friends, our dog, even the neighbor's cat, but that morning he walked into the kitchen with his camera slung around his neck and asked, "Mom, will you let me photograph you?" I nearly choked on my coffee. "Me?" I laughed. "Ethan, I'm not exactly model material." He shrugged, that teenage mix of nonchalance and quiet confidence. "It's not about being a model. I want my photos to tell a story. And you're the biggest part of mine." Those words hit me with more weight than I expected. I set my mug down and looked at him, really looked at him. The boy who once clutched my hand to cross the street now stood taller than me, his camera poised like an extension of himself. I could see the spark of an artist in his eyes. "All right," I said slowly. "But don't expect me to pose like someone in a magazine." He grinned. "I don't want magazine poses. I just want you being you." So that's how it began. We started in the living room. Ethan set up his tripod, adjusting the angle, testing the light. He asked me to sit by the window with the morning sun behind me. I felt awkward at first, crossing my legs and shifting in my seat. "Do I look okay?" I asked nervously. "Just relax, Mom," he said, peering through the lens. "Look out the window like you're thinking about something important." So I did. I thought about the first time I brought him home from the hospital, wrapped in a blanket too big for his tiny frame. I thought about his scraped knees, his science fair experiments, his laughter echoing through our home. I didn't realize my expression had softened until he lowered the camera and said quietly, "That was perfect." From there, he led me outside into the backyard. The grass was still damp with dew, and the air smelled fresh. He had me sit on the wooden bench by the garden, where daffodils had just begun to bloom. "You always sit here in spring," he said, snapping a shot. "This feels like you." As the shutter clicked, I found myself loosening up. I laughed when he crouched on the ground for a low-angle shot. I teased him when he told me to tilt my head just a little more to the left. The tension melted away, replaced by a strange mix of fun and nostalgia. At one point, he asked me to hold an old photo album on my lap. I flipped it open to a picture of him as a toddler, frosting smeared across his cheeks from his second birthday cake. My chest ached in that bittersweet way only mothers know. He snapped the photo before I realized tears had welled in my eyes. "Don't cry, Mom," he said gently, lowering the camera. "I can't help it," I whispered. "You're growing up too fast." He smiled, though there was a tenderness in his gaze. "That's what makes the pictures real." We moved around the neighborhood later, walking side by side as he captured candid shots of me from different angles. At first, I thought this was just about his project, but somewhere along the way, it became more. It was about us, about the bond between mother and son that had weathered storms, laughter, and long nights of homework battles. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in amber tones, Ethan snapped one last shot of me standing at the edge of the street with the golden light wrapping around me like a halo. He lowered the camera slowly, almost reverently. "That's the one," he said softly. We went home, tired but happy, and sat on the couch scrolling through the images. I couldn't believe how he saw me, how his lens captured not just my face but my heart, my story, the pieces of me I didn't always recognize in the mirror. "Ethan," I said, my voice catching, "these are beautiful." He shrugged again, embarrassed by my emotion. "It's just you, Mom." But it wasn't just me. It was the years of bedtime stories, packed lunches, and whispered encouragements before big exams. It was the quiet strength I tried to show him when life wasn't easy. It was love, frozen in a frame. When he finally printed one of the photos and framed it for me, I placed it on my bedside table. Every night since, I've looked at it before going to sleep. And every time, I remember that ordinary Saturday when my son asked if he could photograph me, and how it turned into a memory I will carry forever. Because sometimes the most unexpected moments are the ones that remind us who we are and who we mean to the people we love most.